I shot out of this physical body. I left the earth plane and I was gone. And at that moment, that's when I realized death is an illusion. Like this is what the experience is. You go out of body. We're a soul having a human experience. And so once I was up on this other dimension, I was filled with bliss and joy and happiness, unconditional love. And at that point, you know how I believe in the whole creator God thing. I always, based on my programming and conditioning from religious, was it was like a mortal sin to say anybody was God but Jesus or call yourself God. And that moment when I crossed over, I realized I was God. I realized that all of us was God. I realized that I remembered, my memory came fully back. I remembered exactly who I was. I remembered me before this life. I remembered how I created this whole life, how I put all of these signs. You know how we have these messages, these signs, the numbers 1111, different people coming into our lives, having different experiences. This is something we created from this higher perspective of ourselves. And I truly believe like I've merged with that person, with my higher self, or whom I found to be is the creator of all things. And so I began to flip from just different dimensions. I was after being here for so long, wondering about who I was, being tossed to and fro by all these belief systems. For the first time, I was relieved. I was happy. I was filled with laughter. I laughed for hours. I was like, oh my God, it's been me all along. I kept saying it over, and I laughed. And every time I thought about my suffering and my pain, I just started laughing. I was like, I can't believe I fell for this. I can't believe I really forgot who I was. It was so amazing. I was like, it felt like heaven. I remember there was a point where I was just like, am I dead? I gotta be dead. I was like, I'm dead. And I consciously knew that I didn't have to come back here. I knew who I was. And at first I was like, I'm staying. No, 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 no. But then I thought, now that I have this conscious knowledge, my life will be better there. And I realized that, part of this experience is to get the experience. I wanted to experience human connection and family and friends and everything. And I was floating around, and there was a point where I was laughing, and I was the laughter. I felt like the whole weight of the laughter, floating, flying. I was creating. I was and I can't even explain to you what the surrounding was like. It was really lots of light. And for my surroundings, and I know people see different things, I saw a lot of pinks, a lot of yellows, a lot of light. And I was so happy. I was so complete. I was so whole. I could never be lonely. And I knew that every person here on this planet with us, I knew that it was all me manifested in human form, have different experiences. I knew that this whole creation was about a soul having a human experiences. See, God is so great. There's nothing limited about him. Him or her, us, okay? As God, we can come here and we can split up our soul into different individuals to have different experiences. And we could put enough amnesia that we don't know that we're one, that we can have a human connection experience. And it's just like my analogy with water. Okay, I always say God is like the ocean. We're like the waves. If you take a couple of cups of water out of the ocean, it's still water, isn't it? It's not, it's just taken away from water, but it's still the same thing. So you have to think about it. This God's why I say we're gods, okay? This God, this creator is like the ocean of water who has decided to pour itself in millions of cups to have individual experiences. It was so real. It was so amazing. I'm telling you, I jumped and laughed for 8 hours. I mean, I literally was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And I just was like, it's been me all along. I couldn't believe it. And so I remember calling my friends on Skype, some spiritual friends of mine, and I was talking to them, and I felt so weird. I'm looking at them like, oh my God, you guys are all me. Like I started thinking about all of the war and all of the crime and hatred we have. I'm like, oh my God. The funny part is we're all fighting the same person. We're fighting each other. We're one. It's such an amazing experience. It's like, from what I hear, what I went to is the higher realms, and where all of the consciousness is all one, where they call source. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm source. Okay. There's no doubt in my mind that we all are source. And from that experience, no one can tell me. Like, I was tossed to and fro by every religious belief system, by Christianity, and I really thought that I had to live a miserable life and be under control of a certain type of book. And let me tell you, there's freedom in who we are. We're supposed to be having a great experience here. We're supposed to be enjoying life. And we're supposed to be not getting all attached to to what we call a negative emotion. But every part of this experience, there's nothing wrong with it. Because when you go out, it's like a bleep. We have created so many. We have other experiences. I'm sure you have dreams. I'm sure you have. Sometimes the dream is not a dream. Sometimes it's another experience in another reality. And just the other night, this week, a couple of days ago, I had a dream. I went to sleep and I literally woke up somewhere else. And I was like, oh my God, I realized that this life was the dream. And now, I mean, that was my experience. And I truly believe that. But I wanted to talk about that because I never went into depth in that experience when I went out of body like that. It was freaking amazing. And I didn't get to go. And I went that one time. And once you're there, once I was there, I was like, I knew how to get there. I knew I could come there anytime. And even when I meditated a few times, I could go, but for some reason, I can't stay a long time yet because I haven't reached that level of consciousness and understanding. But I'm trying to tell you that it's amazing, and like it changed my whole life. And I didn't want to forget that. I really wanted to share the details of my first like breakthrough to another dimension. And I remember flipping from dimension to dimension. And then when I got here and I was on Skype talking to my friends, I consciously was back in my body, right? But I was also consciously there. Like, I was a dual person at the same time. That's how much my consciousness had expanded. I could completely be experiencing both lives. I could be here talking to you and my friends, and I was there too. And it's so amazing. And I just really, I'm sorry, I keep having to pop up on my window and I keep thinking my video's gonna get cut off. But it was amazing, and I really wanted to share that. And I'm taking ayahuasca tomorrow, and I'm kind of hoping I'm gonna have that experience again. That's like a coveted experience. But sometimes ayahuasca has to take you on a journey and teach you lessons. And it's amazing. It's a sacred, amazing plant. And um, if you ever feel the call for it, it's for you, because it calls you. She came to me in a vision, and by that weekend, I had the plant, and my life's been amazing ever since. It's been amazing before, but like, to know on a conscious level who we truly are. Now, when you come back in here to this reality, you start to get back into life. You start to get back into the ego, and sometimes you start forgetting some of this experience, and sometimes you have to remind yourself. And so I wanted to make this video. I wanted to remind myself, and I really wanted to share that breakthrough, my first breakthrough experience on ayahuasca. Thank you for watching. Peace and love. Namaste.